What is up, guys? Happy New Year. It's 2017 now, obviously, even though it's been 2017 for a while in our little imaginary Blackburn Rovers football manager 2017 world. I hope you've all enjoyed your holidays. Sorry that I've not been uploading that much. I've kind of got a Conte tactical video in the making, and if you've seen the Klopp one, if you haven't, there'll be a link in the description to it. If you haven't, they're quite thorough. So they do sometimes take time, and as you can guess, with Christmas and New Year and stuff like that, and work as well. Hopefully, I can start churning videos out a little bit more often now. And it seemed like there was a positive response to the past two videos where I've tried to take things a little bit slower, and rather than focus on trying to get as many games out there as possible and trying to advance as quick as possible, it seems like you guys kind of preferred when I took it slower and actually went through a lot of the micromanagement that goes on behind the scenes that attributes to a lot of the success on the pitch, because success in Football Manager isn't just about your transfers and what happens on the pitch, it's about a lot more than that. So one thing I've been working on since the last episode is I've been sorting out my backroom staff. Now, when you jump up from the Championship to the Premier League, changes are really needed. So you can take a look. We had David Fever as our head of sports science. Now, David Fever is quality, to be honest, but he decided himself that his time at the club has come to an end. He's been at the club for bloody ages. You can see he first joined in 1999. So unfortunately, he has decided to leave us. Otherwise, I'd be more than happy to keep us on. He's just decided that, he wants another challenge in life. So fair play to him. We also got rid of Wes Brown. Obviously, he was kind of a player/coach last season. Now he's retired, so he's a full-on coach. But his attributes are pretty poor. And when you're in the Premier League, you need to try and get as much out of your coaches as possible. Because I personally find and believe that it does end up making a difference in the long run. Next up, we got rid of Chris Nix, data analyst. The data analyst role is a bit of a weird one this year in FM, because there aren't any specific attributes that define whether someone's a good or bad data analyst. Like, the data analysts are the people that send you scouting reports on a team. So I guess they watch highlights and stuff like that and produce reports. Now, in theory, data analysts with a higher tactical attribute should be better data analysts, but apparently that's not how it works. So if someone from SI is watching this, it's a bit weird. Like, it just seems like anyone can be a data analyst if there's no way to differentiate between them. It's like the same way you have a good player and an average player and a bad player, and therefore you'll pay more for the good player because he's good at what he does, and therefore, you know, he'll score more goals, etc., etc. The same should really apply to data analysts, and if it doesn't, tell us why. Because I know a lot of people have actually reported this on the SI forums, but the answer's kind of just been, we don't know. So, yeah, try and sort that out if possible. And we also got rid of John Henry. Now, he's one of the Scotsman that Owen Coyle, the part of the previous regime, brought into the club. And as you can see, not really great. Did a job in the Championship, but then I just terminated his contract. Like, see you later, mate. I had to bring in bigger and better coaches. So, who have we brought in? Let's bring back this little legend here, Tim Sherwood. Obviously, a name that will be relatively familiar to most people who watch football. I assume if you're watching this, you are into your football, so you should know who Tim Sherwood is. He's currently director of football at Swindon Town. And I wanted to bring in a director of football simply because I find that it kind of takes the load off me from time to time. You know, if there's a youngster I really don't need, I just want to offload him instead of me having to deal with it. Tim Sherwood will deal with it. I also find sometimes as well, if you've tried to negotiate a contract, and this is a good tip here, so pay attention. If you try to negotiate a contract with a player and his agent, and you can't come to an agreement, you know when you get that really annoying thing where your agent will stop talking to you, which means you can no longer agree a new contract with that player. What you can do is ask your director of football to try behind the scenes and agree a contract with the player's agent, and that can sometimes save you from losing a player. It helped me with Ben Marshall last season. I didn't mention it last season, even though this is, I think, before Tim Sherwood came in. When did Tim Sherwood come in? I think Tim Sherwood came in towards the end of last season. I think he helped me out with it. I can't remember, but it's irrelevant now. He helped me give Ben Marshall a new contract after his agent would refuse to talk to me, and we ended up selling him to Sunderland for 7.5 million. So if I hadn't used my director of football at the time, he would have ended up leaving on a free. So yeah. Next up, we've got John Eager, who's coming from Huddersfield, head of sports science, 15 fitness. Will definitely get a job done. Normally when it comes to bringing in members of staff, I look for people who aren't currently hired because you don't have to pay their compensation. But now that we're a Premier League team, if we have to pay off like 40k for a decent staff member, especially like in this case, 15 fitness for John Eager to Huddersfield, then I'll just do it. We brought in Terry McPhillips, someone who will definitely be used to the coaching setup here at Blackburn Rovers. Once upon a time, assistant manager at the club, assistant to Gary Boyer, who I think is still he's Doncaster manager. Right, interesting. So he's Blackpool manager in real life, so interesting to see that he's gone there. Terry McPhillips applied, and decent all-round coach. Not on too much money as well. If we do end up getting relegated again, he'll put a shift in the Championship. Meanwhile, a lot of other staff members will get picked up by better teams, but this guy will most likely stay. And what I was looking for in this case, I like to have a mixture of staff members. I like to have like one or two coaches who are really good at attacking, one or two coaches who are specialists at defending, one or two coaches that are like good at goalkeeping, and then I like to have one or two coaches that are kind of really good all-rounders and can pick the odd thing up here and there, and I find that it gives you a good balance within your staff setup. And another good thing as well is that he's a pretty decent scout as well. So if I want his opinion on a player, I think I can assign him to give me an opinion on a player. He's a man to do that. So him out of the way. We brought in Luca Pavoni. He's an Italian coach, and as you can see, he's pretty good at what he does. 18 attacking, 14 defending. Brilliant. And only on 700 quid a week as well. Couldn't really turn this guy down. Great determination as well. This guy's class for £700 a week. It's that simple. I can rely on him for attacking drills. I can rely on him for defending drills. And I'm pretty sure his average coaching stat is higher than all the other coaches we've currently got. So, really good pickup for us. We paid about 40k to free him from his contract. But it's just a Serie B team, so I'm sure he'll be buzzing about being in the Premier League now. Next up, we've got Paulo Menezes. So, one thing you can do is when you go to scouting, you can actually look at your knowledge in the world. And obviously, when we were in the Championship, we were limited to our continent. The board limited us to only being able to scout Europe. So now that we're in the Premier League, basically, I'm currently in the mindset now that we're not fighting for relegation. I'm in the mindset that I'm going to stay in the Premier League, and we're going to continue building the club within the Premier League. So for that reason, I'm trying to build for the future. And to build for the future, I know that amazing regions are going to be cropping up all over the world. So I want to try and increase our world knowledge as much as possible. And to start things off, I want to try and do that in the countries where the best regions appear. So that's why we've got really good knowledge in South America. That's why we've got really good knowledge in Central Europe and Western Europe in general, so Spain and so forth, because you get less world-class players coming from places like the Middle East and Scandinavia and so on. But over time, when the board starts allowing us to hire more scouts, for sure I'm going to be hiring loads of more scouts to give us more knowledge in this area. But the point is, we were really lacking a lot of scouting knowledge, which is why I went on the hunt for scouts. And this guy was phenomenal. He's on a lot of money, 3.3k per week. And as you can see, he was previously chief scout at Real Betis before he left. But you can see why he was a chief scout. 14 judging ability, 15 judging potential. But I weren't really too bothered about that. I mean, the fact that he's got them stats already makes him a world-class scout. But his scouting knowledge is really good in Portugal, Spain, Brazil, and Argentina. So when it comes to trying to find Portuguese, Spanish, Brazilian, or Argentinian regions, this guy will pick them up. You don't have to, tell him, yo, Paulo, find me a world-class player. He'll pick them up if you go into your scouting and assign him them regions. Because his knowledge within them countries is so high, it's a much higher chance that he will pick up them world-class regions for you. So that's why I brought him in. And as we know, their countries where a lot of world-class regions will appear. So looking ahead, looking into the future, I think this will be a really good coup. Next up, we have 2 sports scientists. I think I'm still in the market for one more scout. I'm not entirely sure. We brought in Chris Hattersley. The reason why I'm not entirely sure is because I've actually not touched this save for a few days, I think 4 or 5 days, because of obviously Christmas and New Year. We brought in Chris Hattersley, 16 fitness, obviously, which is what you want from a sports scientist, 1.1k a week. Then I brought in this Jason. I'm not even going to try and pronounce that surname. I've got a mate with that surname. I've honestly got no idea how the fuck you pronounce it. So, 16 fitness and only on 850k a week because he's come all the way from AFC Wimbledon in League 2. So he's going to be buzzing about now being a part of a Premier League club as well. Training-wise, I think I mentioned this in the last episode where I said I wasn't really happy with how we were passing as a team. I felt like there were a lot of misplaced passes and they cost us the odd goal here and there against Newcastle. So between the between the Newcastle game and the Southampton game, sorry for giving away the result there, I had the lads work on ball control. And going into the Southampton game, which as you can see we won, if we go to match stats, we can see that we had a much higher passes completed percentage than they did. So that's awesome for us. As you can see, we beat them 2-0. Buzzing to see Andre Gray get on the score sheet, particularly after he got 2 goals against Newcastle. He's starting to warm up now. Danny Graham getting on the score sheet as well. But I think a highlight you guys are really going to like is a Danny Graham wonder attempt at goal, which was almost the last kick of the game, and I was gutted when it didn't go in. So I'm just going to quickly fast forward to that, and we can take a look at that highlight because it was amazing. All right, so this is where the highlight started. So Graham tried to chip Fraser Forster, and it hit the bar. I definitely got out of my seat and started screaming when that happened. It was really, really unlucky because it would have rounded up quite a decent game. I'll tell you what, I'll let you guys see the goals as well. We took a 2-0 lead and were really, really solid in this game, and I think we're unbeaten at home so far this season. Gouffran has been a fantastic signing. He's working well out on that left wing, cutting inside like we want from our wide playmaker, and our 2 up front are doing really well as well. I feel like we've got a much better mix now between Graham and Gray because Graham's that big target man. You know, we can use him when we want to go direct. He pisses off centre backs, but Andre Gray gives you that more pace. He's a really good fox in the box as well. Augustinson started to improve at left back as well. That's what I mean by utilising Danny Graham's physicalness. So this was unfortunately where Southampton got their goal, but that long ball from the goalkeeper, Danny Graham's physicalness, you know, helped us regain possession. Just a shame about the way we conceded the goal. But I have found that Augustinson has improved at left back, which is good. And he's really unlucky not to score a free kick earlier on in the highlights as well. Because if you go and take a look at him individually, as you can see, he's got 13 free kick taking, which makes him a decent candidate to take free kicks when Charlie Mulgrew is out injured, which he has, oops, wrong page, binned. We've been playing Lenihan at centre back. So overall, we're leaking goals, but I think we should expect that in the Premier League. We're 5th at the moment. I don't think we're going to finish 5th, but 5th at this current moment in time is pretty good, considering we want to hit that 40-point mark to stay in the league. That's our main aim this season, to stay in the league. If we can get a mid-table finish, awesome. If we can get a top half finish, then I don't know, I'll eat my shorts or something, as Bart Simpson would say. But yeah, we are scoring goals, and that's one of the things I was really worried about going into this season, because we obviously signed Nabil Ghilas, and he's not joining until next bloody season. So I was like, Danny Graham ain't going to be able to put a shift in on his own, and we brought in Andre Gray from our rivals Burnley on the cheap. But as you can see, he's already scored more goals than he did with shitty Burnley last season.
Get in there! Get in there! You beauty!
And apologies for calling them that, but I'm a Blackburn fan, so you can understand that. But anyways, next up we have Man United. So I shall see you at Ewood Park. We'll have to see whether or not we can continue our unbeaten run at Ewood Park up against Mourinho's Red Devils. We did beat them last season in the FA Cup, so who knows. Alright, so here we are. I did a little bit of scouting before facing Man United, and to be fair, Mourinho's kind of surprised me with one main thing, and that's that he's gone with Rashford up front rather than Griezmann. Now, I wasn't really expecting Rashford to play simply because he's injured, But I can see why he's gone with the more pacier Rashford up front, because he knows we're going to be playing a high line. So he wants to utilise that pace up front to try and get past them. Knowing it's a Mourinho side, Griezmann and Mkhitaryan are going to be trying to push up forward, and Mata is going to be their danger man. So for that reason, most of our opposition instructions have been put towards Juan Mata. We're going to try and tackle Rashford pretty hard because he's already injured. Seemed harsh, but I want him off because he's a quality player. And we're going to go in hard on both Griezmann and Mkhitaryan. Really good technical players, but not exactly the strongest. So if we can do a bit of damage to them, it will definitely help us. Looking at the team report as well, Man United, despite being top of the league, have only won, I think it was 54% of their headers so far this season. So for that reason, we are not going to be looking to retain possession. We're going to be looking to play with a mixed directness. And our goalkeeper, Jason Steele, has been told to try and hoof the ball to Danny Graham up front. We are trying to exploit the right flank simply because I'm going to swap Conway and Gouffran because Gouffran will give us more pace. Will he actually? He's a lot slower than I thought. Alright, that could be something I live to regret, but I've chosen my side now. So what I want to try and exploit is, if I can find where Man United are, I want to try and exploit Daley Blind. He's not the fastest, at least acceleration-wise. As you can see, he's more of a defensive midfielder, even though he's a good tackler. Most of Man United's attacks are going to be coming down the right flank through Mkhitaryan and the overlapping Darmian, and for that reason Augustin Son is going to start off as a defensive fullback. So I think that's all the changes that we made, and of course try and counteract Rashford's pace up front and the general pace of both Griezmann and Mkhitaryan. We're not going to be trying to use the offside trap. We've dropped our defensive line, and that is going to be it for now. So let's jump straight in. Alright, here we go, ladies and gentlemaninos. Welcome to Ewood Park. Just as we start the game, I just want to say massive shout out to all the new subscribers we've been getting to the channel. It's been really awesome. I think we've just surpassed 90 subscribers, and it seems like 2 episodes ago I was saying thanks for 60 subscribers, so I'm buzzing that the number of subscribers is growing. And honestly, guys, appreciate all the likes and stuff, but all you new subscribers, if you could tell me in the comments, maybe give me some constructive feedback. Just tell me what you want to see, what kind of content you want to see, anything you think I could be doing better, let me know, because I'll try my best to improve that for you. But anyways, so let's go back into the game. We're 20 minutes in, we're on defensive, and we've not really done much, as long ball goes forward towards Andre Gray. And now Mkhitaryan is going to play the ball forward towards Juan Mata. Pogba finds Griezmann out wide on the left wing. And I think we're giving with a little bit too deep here. And that's the long ball over to Mkhitaryan. And that's 1-0 to Man United. So, right, we were far too deep there for my liking. Not enough pressing either in the middle of the park. So for that reason, we're just going to go attacking. At least for 5 or so minutes. After this goal, and see what happens. Man United are top of the league, but given that we beat them last season and that we're in good form at home, I don't see why we can't beat them. Really disappointed that Rashford was the one that won that header. You know what I mean? I was expecting Rashford to score, but not like that from a cross. But let's see what happens as we go forward. So Letalic has already picked up a yellow card, which isn't really good. Augustin Son ain't exactly done great, and the attack did come down the left-hand side as well, or our left-hand side, so we were kind of expecting that, but we didn't deal with it well, and ironically, it was an aerial ball that did it for Man United. So we're 1-0 down. I'm just going to have to tell them I'm not happy, and we're going to have to change things around now. Let's take a quick look at the stats. Let's see. Headers won, 55%. So we are winning more headers than they are. We're just struggling really to carve out chances. We're not really seeing that much of the ball, probably because we are playing a little bit more direct. So we'll go back to our normal shorter passing style of play, and what that'll do is that'll increase our tactical familiarity, hopefully, a little bit. I'm going to tell them to start getting stuck in a little bit more, because we're really not going in hard enough on him in midfield. So for that reason, I'm going to have to put on a new defensive mid. But we're not going to play with the high line just yet. We'll change, exploit the middle, and keep things at that. So our new defensive midfielder, in this case, is going to be Jason Lowe. And I'm going to move Gouffran out to the left, and I'm going to bring on James. In fact, I'm going to go with that. I'm going to bring on James McLean, simply due to his pace. I think he'll be able to make a bit more of a difference now. And we'll have both fullbacks now on automatic, so Augustinson will start trying to go forward a little bit more. And, we might as well go into this second half with a positive mentality and try to score. If we go 2-0 down, then we go 2-0 down, but there's no point trying to hold on to this 1-0 lead. And that's a poor cross, really, but you can see, I think that was Darmian, yeah, so you can see what's coming from him. He's interestingly playing narrow right now, so Daley Blind has gone out to right back. Not quite sure what that's about, but it does seem like we're going to get a goal kick. Header won by De Vrij, and that's a really good tackle from Andre Gray as Khedira picks the ball up and will find Gouffran, who plays the direct ball to Graham, but Graham doesn't fight for it. Smalling pushes forward as the stopper and wins the ball. So, considering that Man United were 16th best at winning headers, they've definitely looked better than we have in the air. And I'm not really sure there's much we can do to counteract that, other than really just demand more from the players. Going attacking, we're definitely carving out a little bit more chances, but it's been somewhat quiet up front. Let's see what comes of this as Dumic plays a ball to Gouffran, who is looking for a passing option, who finds Andre Gray. McLean finds Fabio. Is that offside? It's a penalty. Antoine Griezmann has given up a foul in the box, and now Danny Graham has a chance to score from the spot, make it 1-1, and then it's a case of whether or not we want to shut up shop. But he is up against De Gea, and De Gea is probably going to do well, but no, Danny Graham scores 1-1 against the Red Devils, against Mourinho's Red Devils, who's given me shit in the pre-match press conference for some reason. I think he's still bitter because we beat him in the FA Cup last season, but Danny Graham's been quiet all game, but he's shown up right when it matters the most, and now we need to consider what changes we want to make. For me, Andre Gray's not exactly played great, so I want to try and pack the midfield because that's what Man United are doing. A lot of people in this kind of scenario wouldn't make a change, but personally I want to try and retain possession now. Take things a little bit slower and see where it goes from there. Fullback-wise, Fabio and Augustinson haven't really done that much damage, to be honest, which is kind of disappointing. But I am going to switch them both to defensive fullbacks. We're going to try and play a control game and try and hold on to the ball as much as we can, but I don't want them overlapping at the moment. So we have one more sub left, and we've kind of got to make it count. So obviously that sub is going to have to be someone going in for Andre Gray, and it's going to have to be one of these central midfielders. Now, Corey Evans will give us more technical ability on the ball than Dara Lenihan. Lenihan will give us a little bit more physicality. So I think I'm going to go for Dara Lenihan simply because physicality is kind of what I'm looking for at the moment, and I'm going to make him a ball-winning midfielder just to try and solidify things up defensively a little bit. And we'll go from there. I don't want Steele as well to be... Normally we tell him to distribute to fullbacks, so no longer want him trying to hoof the ball to Danny Graham, and we'll go from there. That looks pretty good. We've still got half an hour, of course, to go, so I'm going to be good if we do concede, but it's going to be important now to tell the lads to tighten up. Dumic is wound up, which isn't really good, but we've played our hand. We've made all three subs, and all we can do now is try and hold on to the ball and frustrate Man United. A point against Man United would be amazing. It looks like we're going to get it as we switch to contain, tell the lads to play safer, and be more disciplined, and that should be the point against Man United, unless they score from this corner. So Juan Mata, not really done much. We got our goal from a penalty, but in order to get that penalty, we had to change things round, which we did. And we had to get into their box in the first place, and I think it was Fabio that got tackled making a run into the box by Griezmann, ironically. So that could have been as a result of us tackling him hard on the opposition instructions, trying to wind him up. It could have been numerous things. But Dario Dumic, new signing, getting player of the match against Man United. Nice. And we've got a point. So well done, lads. You've done well. to get a draw. And as you can see, we've got more points than Man City and Chelsea at the moment, so can't really complain. Norwich, Sunderland and Swansea at the moment bottom of the league. Swansea with only 1 point, which is looking pretty bad. Man United still in top spot. And as well, we beat Southampton in the last game as well. As you can see, they're third and they were top of the league when we beat them. So it was us that knocked them off there. So looking good. And if we can keep playing like this, guys, then I don't see why we can't stay in the division. We had a small period when we went through a little bit of poor form. Good 0-0 result against Arsenal. And if you think about it, the only team we've lost against so far this season is West Brom. We've come up against Chelsea, who we beat. We come up against Arsenal. We drew against Arsenal. We just played Man United and drew against Man United. So considering we've only just got promoted, I'm really happy with how we've done so far. We've beaten the teams we should be beating, like your Palaces, like your Newcastles, who will be fighting for relegation come the end of the season. And they're the important 6-pointers, you know. So 6th in the Premier League. Not looking too shabby, but still, don't want to get too excited, guys. Still a very, very long way to go, as you can see. And it's been a pretty long episode. So on that note, thanks for the 90 subscribers again. Really appreciate it. If you're one of them new subscribers watching this video, there's anything you think I can do to improve videos and so on, let me know in the comments below. I've kind of been toying with the idea of maybe trying out, even though I know I've been changing things over the past few episodes, but I've kind of been thinking of maybe removing the face cam and rather than live comming games, kind of pre-recording stuff and then comming the pre-recorded stuff, because I know a lot of people have been asking for more than one game per episode, and I want to do that, but if I focus on more than one game per episode, that'll mean each episode will be like half an hour, and that turns off a lot of people. So, because a lot of people don't have half an hour to waste and sit and watch a video. So, if I go with that new style, that might allow me to put highlights from 2 games in one video. So, if you think I should at least try it until you guys give me some feedback, and if you don't like it, we can switch back to this, let me know, because I'm more than happy to do that. If you seriously like the format the way it is and don't think I should pre-record stuff and things like that and should carry on doing things live and have it spontaneous like it currently is, like obviously none of this is rehearsed, I kind of click record and just get on with my life and play Football Manager, and you guys just watch me how I'd normally play Football Manager. If you like that, then we'll stick with that, but I can't know what you'll like or won't like if you don't comment. So hopefully look forward to reading your comments. Oh yeah, one more thing. I think it was Sam. Sorry if I've got your name wrong, but I think you were called Sam. Mentioned something in the comments about a transfer clause that I've got for Phil Jones. 25% on the profit made. Well, I mean, okay. I think the clause that was mentioned was something like we can buy him back and get 2 mil off or something like that. Is that what you're talking about, Sam? If that was your name. I think that was your name. Let me check. Sorry, not Sam. Paul. Is that what you're on about? Wait, actually. Sell on clause. So he's currently at Everton. Oh, he's only on loan. Yeah, but okay. Clause aside, let me know if that's the clause you're on about, because it doesn't look like it. So maybe you've got a clause that I don't for some reason. But until next time, remember to hit that like button, subscribe button, and see you next episode.